Hello, everyone, and welcome to CTN's Happy Tales. I'm your host, Melissa Bondi. Happy Tales interviews animal rescues, organizations, and individuals who volunteer their time assisting animals in a variety of ways. As pet owners are aware, it can be a very stressful time when something goes awry with their little companion animals, and they want the best medical attention possible. For the better half of this year, businesses and organizations have taken a pause in their traditional services and are now working with new procedures and new policies, from curbside, phone in on arrival to telehealth. And that includes the Huron Valley Humane Society. And joining me today from there is Gary Evans. He's the clinic director, and he's here to tell us about their changes, their services, and how they continue to serve the highest quality care. Welcome, Gary, to the show.
Thanks, Melissa. It's great to be here.
Great. So we have a lot to talk about. I always enjoy talking to the Humane Society. Today we're going to focus on something a little different. It's going to be more along the lines of the veterinary care, which is super important and on the minds of a lot of pet owners regarding the changes. So tell us about, I guess let's start from the beginning and ask a little bit about yourself real quick and how you got started in the position that you're in today as the clinic director.
Sure. It's kind of a funny story. My background is not actually in animal care. At least it hasn't been for the last few years. I have been part of the entrepreneurial technology startup company that's really vibrant in our community in Ann Arbor in particular. And I'm an operations guy at heart. I like to work with people and I like to make systems work. About 3 or 4 years ago, I moved to another nonprofit. I moved from the private sector to a nonprofit called the Area Agency on Aging and help them start a program designed to help keep seniors in their homes. I was looking for a change about 2 years ago, and I saw a position kind of out of the blue for a cat coordinator, a community cat coordinator. And I wasn't even sure at the time what that was, but it was at the Humane Society of Huron Valley. I applied for it, and to my surprise, got the job. And I was the guy for a year who dealt with all of the community, or sometimes what we call feral cats in the community. We have a program called Trap, Neuter, and Return, where we vaccinate them and we spay them, and that's designed to humanely reduce cat populations over time. And from there, the position of clinic director had opened up, and with my background in managing operations at a high level, it seemed like a great fit. And I've been doing this now for just under a year, and I have to say it's the most rewarding job I've ever had.
Do you want to tell us about some of the changes that have taken place? So I'm a pet owner, and I'm looking for veterinary care, and I want to come to the Humane Society for my animal. What's some of the biggest changes that have taken place?
Well, I guess as we've seen all over, the change has been pretty dramatic that we've sort of dealt with here over the last year or so. But the good news, right, maybe to start with, is that except for the fact that due to quarantine, there is still a really high demand. All the services that you expect and that your animals need are still widely available. The manner that we do some of the things has changed. So really, for the last many months now, we have been using curbside service, which a lot of places have. So when you come up, you actually don't come into the facility anymore. You will call us. We register that you're here. We send people right out to your car to speak with you, to collect your loved one, your four-legged loved one, and bring them into the building. They get care. We're in constant contact with our clients while their animal is with us. So there are, through phone calls and we often are out at their car face to face to communicate with them. And the process takes a little bit longer, but it works really well. We've gotten a tremendous amount of positive feedback about how the process works, because we keep it pretty quick. It's pretty organized, and a side benefit, kind of an unexpected one, is in some ways it's almost a little bit easier for the animals. As we know, they can be very sensitive, and when their owners come in and they're nervous about their pets, that makes the pets often feel it. So sometimes it can be a little bit easier when we have that separation and the pet comes in and their owners might be surprised by what troopers they actually are.
I think your feedback, I think you had mentioned, was positive, though. It doesn't seem to be for the pet owners.
Yeah, so we keep a really close eye on that, right? Because again, it's it's really well-being that we care about, and health is a major part of that, but so is emotional well-being of both of our clients and their pets. So we send a survey to everybody who comes in for service, and honestly our scores have never been higher, and we get a lot of feedback, because it is really important to us, not just to make sure that pets are healthy, but that they feel good and that their owners feel good about the service that we've received. So it has been gratifying to see in our community here.
Okay. So you had mentioned over this last year, a lot of services in the beginning, not many slowed down. They were still being offered. Like a lot of places, shut down certain services, but most of yours continue and we continue now. Everything that the vet clinic offers.
Well, we are back to full service, but we did have to make some fairly major changes earlier in the year, because we take public health very seriously, as you would imagine. And so we were following, what we were being asked to do by the CDC and by government officials. One of the things that, that does help us in general is that being a medical facility, we really are designed for situations like this to a large extent. We do have to deal with animals that have diseases that can be contagious. We stepped up some precautions, but nonetheless, when there was a shortage of PPE and just some general uncertainty around things, we stopped doing we reduced some of our services. Now we are dedicated to helping sick animals. I mean, we'll be here through thick or thin to do that, and we never wavered or slowed down that practice at all.
Okay.
But there was a time when spays and neutering, we were asked to put on hold, and some of our wellness appointments, that is appointments for things that are kind of like normal checkups for animals, had to be put on hold for a little while. One of the ramifications we're seeing now, one of the holdovers, now that we are back to full service, is there was quite a bottleneck of animals that needed help during that time, and their access to care was slowed. So there's still kind of an overflow that we're dealing with on top of all the animals now who just need, care for whatever reason. So, we are finding, and I think a lot of veterinary clinics are finding, demand is really high right now. So the biggest challenge is not getting the animal the care you need, but just, getting it in a timely manner, because people are busy.
Okay. And to get an appointment, what's the best method? I know on your website, there's the vet clinic. What's the best method to get an appointment at the
there's an appointment requester on our website, but the best bet is just to get on the phone and call us. And you can find our clinic's our phone number online, or it's listed on our website. And we're a high volume clinic. We get a couple hundred calls a day, but you can rest assured that your call will be, that we will take it, that we will get you scheduled, and we'll find out what your animal needs, and we'll make sure that we get that taken care of for you.
Okay. Something else I want to ask you real quick. Do you feel like the curbside, I know CTN has made changes similar to this, where curbside, drop off, call. Do you see that changing anytime as part of the procedures of the Humane Society?
An interesting question, and it certainly might. Again, because we're seeing such high levels of satisfaction with the service, there's not a giant, driver from that angle to make a change. And obviously, keeping both our clients and our staff healthy is of paramount importance. If my team gets sick, they're not there to be able to help animals who need it. That said, curbside does slow down our services. It makes our appointments a little bit longer, and that reduces the amount of animals that we can see in a day. And as I mentioned, there are so many that need help right now. We are looking at any way that we can, to increase the amount of animals that we can help. So it's certainly possible, perhaps even likely, that in the short term, we're going to be starting with some experiments to see about bringing people back into the building, in a safe manner. It would have to be very well thought out. And we'll kind of do it on a trial basis, where we try some things and see what works and improve. But I think that we might be seeing some testing along that lines here fairly quickly.
Something else I wanted to ask you about, and I know personally this has come up, adoption. So over the last, 7 months, I've had a handful, less than a dozen friends, believe it or not, adopt an animal during this time. So those are on the rise. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? I know in our household, It's been a topic. We've talked about it, haven't
Sure.
published on that. But let's talk a little bit about adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, helping animals as a shelter, helping animals find homes is a core priority for us and has been for forever, from the CEO all the way down. We're fortunate we have an excellent program, excellent management. And you're 100% right. Adoptions are way up. In fact, during the quarantine, or at least shortly after that, animals almost were being adopted as quickly as they came in. It was gratifying to see, but also it was kind of unexplored territory, the rate with which people were bringing home animals. The good news is, from what we can tell so far, at least, it's been really successful. We are not seeing a large uptick we're not seeing a correspondingly large uptake in animal returns. It seems like people have used this time to bring animals into their home, make them part of the family. And it seems like it's working out for both the people and the animals that they're getting from us. So again, it's still early, but it feels like a very happy story so far.
Something else I wanted to ask you, I think is important, is sort of if someone does bring in their animal to the veterinary clinic there at the Humane Society, where does the funds go that you pay for the services? How is that put back into the Humane Society or community?
So that's a great question. So we help animals in two ways. One is by providing direct care, like animals that just are sick or need help. We provide that and we make them better. But the other way that we support is by generating funds to help other animals, right? So our program, every single dollar that our program makes goes straight back into the clinic. In fact, I have to say I've never been part of a business that takes its mission to so as seriously as we do. So it feels great, and our whole team knows that every dollar we make is going to help take care of other animals that maybe are not so fortunate to have good owners who are able to provide the care that they need for them. Our cruelty and rescue department, which is very active, I think people would feel great knowing about how much we do to help wildlife or animals that are not being treated well. And our program helps support all of those type of things, or even just vet care for people who love their animals but are in a difficult situation right now and are financially struggling to take care of some of the things that their animal needs.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I wanted to also talk about. I was going to head over to your website here, hshv.org. It's the main website, and then if you go to the clinic portion, talk a little bit about the Love Train.
Yeah. It's one of our most popular programs, and again, it's another cool and kind of a win-win situation. So what Love Train is we find puppies, mostly puppies, sometimes older dogs, but that often from down south that do not necessarily have a bright future in front of them, that are not necessarily in a spot where they're going to be easily adopted or whatnot, and we bring them back a couple times a month, and then we bring them back here to our community where they're adopted out. Again, I call it a win-win because people find puppies they love, puppies find great homes, and the whole program, again, is just an example of a very successful social enterprise where we generate funds which allow us to better fulfill our core mission of helping all of our communities' animals. It's a really, really popular, a surprisingly popular program. Even you'd expect it to be popular, but the demand has been through the roof. I mean, we come twice. It's usually every 2 weeks that we bring up puppies, and we have an application process now. In fact, I believe it's a lottery where people, sort of apply to see if they'll get selected to be able to come and get a puppy. And sometimes the demand outstrips the amount of puppies we have 10 to 1. So if you are interested in a Love Train puppy, and it's a great program. We get all kinds of just wonderful animals, but you have to be patient and just understand that it can take many attempts before you win the lotto to get in. But if you do keep trying, eventually you will get through, and it's a fun thing to be part of.
That's neat. So is it all different types of breeds? Different breeds of animals?
Absolutely. So it really is kind of all over the place. The one thing that they have in common is they have that they're puppies. They're adorable. But we get all different types and size, and sizes. There really is a large mix And it's hard to imagine somebody not being able to find a pup, coming in and not be able to find a puppy that they fall in love with very quickly.
Okay. Well, I'm on your website. I'm on the clinic page, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about the services. So you have quite a list here of services that you do, from the dental to the house calls, spay and neutering, obviously, preventative medicine. Is there anything that stands out as far as what you encourage people to come in for, or would they, you know, if they're on the fence on something, do you encourage them to come in and bring their animal?
Sure. So first and foremost, we obviously are big believers in spaying and neutering your pet. There's all kinds of reasons that is good for you. It's really good for your animal, and it's just good in general. And to that end, we're a high volume spay neuter clinic. We do sometimes scores of these in a single day. So we really highly encourage that. But outside of that, you know, we are providing your pets are part of the family, and really we look at it, taking care of your pets is like taking care of your family. Regular checkups, make sure that you're getting vaccines, make sure that you're getting tests that might indicate any other problem, alerting us if you're noting any problems. One thing that sometimes people will do is if they see an animal developing something that looks like it could be, you know, a health problem, they'll wait until the last minute, and then they'll call when it's become an emergency. And that's problematic for a couple of reasons. One, because your pet might have been suffering, you know, through that time, but also because demand for slots is so high right now, it can be difficult to get a really timely appointment. So I would encourage people, you know, to really keep a close eye on that. But again, you know, our Humane Society, we are a full service clinic. So we do we do surgeries beyond just spays and neuters, you know, mass removals, eye removals when it's necessary, amputation if an animal is a really badly injured, you know, leg, for instance. We have a full range of outpatient services, and we have, you know, some cool, you know, again, we believe really firmly in this concept of wellness, and so we're looking to add services like laser therapy. We have a doctor right now who's getting certified in acupuncture. So we really want to be a spot that can provide all of the services, anything that your animal might need to stay not only healthy but content.
Okay. And to be clear, then you don't have to, if you use the veterinary services, you don't have to have gotten an animal from the Humane Society. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. So we are open to the public. If you've got your pet from here, then by all means come. But if you've got your pet from anywhere else, we still encourage you to come, and would love to be able to help you. That's absolutely right. How
can the public support and help aside from the veterinary clinic if I don't have a pet? So how can people help the Humane Society? What would you ask for if you could ask for anything?
Well, I'd like to say we do. We work hard to make it easy for anybody who wants to help. We are fortunate. One of the things that brings people together, you know, it feels like in a lot of ways it's a challenging time, but one of the easy ways to bring people together is love of animals. That seems to unite an awful lot of us. And we really want to try and leverage that because, again, we want to make our community the best place in the world to be an animal. So we have a robust volunteer program. In fact, we get many, the equivalent of many full-time employees of that type of effort just from volunteers. So I'd encourage people to check out that program. Just leveraging our services helps. So coming to the Humane Clinic, to our veterinary clinic, as I mentioned, that directly supports the care of our community's animals. So do the fees that we create from adoptions. Beyond that, though, you know, we always welcome just donations for people in a position that it is easy, you know, for them to give. So that can be done via our website. It can be done, you know, in many ways. We encourage people, if you have things that you don't need, whether it can be anything from towels to food that you don't need anymore, you know, we certainly always welcome donations. And we do have programs like coming up in early November. We have our Compassionate Feast, which is a large fundraising event on our website, and you're welcome to check that out. Jeff Corwin is going to be presenting this year, so we have a really cool guest. And the nice thing is, one of the hard to say there are too many upsides to COVID, but one of the upsides is because we're doing it virtually this year, so more people are going to be able to participate if they want, because now anybody who would like to support us and be part of the experience is able to sign up and attend virtually, which I think is really great.
That's wonderful. And I know you do have at the time, I tried to get into the volunteer program. I know there was a little bit of a commitment, some training,
Mm.
but it seems like it's very well run, well managed. But it's a commitment, right, to volunteer at the Humane Society.
We're fortunate to have, the director of the program is fantastic. And again, I mean, we're just very fortunate to live in a community that has the resources and the time and the passion, to help. And the amount of help that we get from our volunteers is, I mean, it's spectacular. It's humbling.
Okay, Gary, is there anything you would like to leave us with today regarding the veterinary clinic or the help or adoption? Before we wrap up, I want to give you the floor one more time. I think this information is invaluable, so I appreciate it today. But if there's anything you may not have mentioned yet.
No, I think we covered a lot of good ground. Again, I would just keep, encouraging people to keep an eye on your pet, be a little bit patient, with whoever your veterinary clinic is, whether it's us or anybody else, because again, demand is so high. Know that everybody, not just at my clinic, but I think everybody in our field is in this because they love animals and they want to help. So again, if you do need anything, call and keep calling. We'll do everything that we can to make sure that you're taken care of. So. Yeah, but it is business as usual, and anything that that your pet needs, whether it's a trim or whether it's that they're sick and they need real help, we're here for.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gary, so much for doing this and taking the time out to talk with me today. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me. It's been fun.
You're so welcome. And if you would like to get in touch with the Humane Society of Huron Valley, you can do that on the web, hshv.org/clinic. And they have an array of information on there, from volunteering to vet services to animal adoption. So I encourage you to visit that website today. And that's it for this episode of Happy Tales. For more programming from CTN, you can visit a2gov.org/CTN or talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at #CTN Ann Arbor. And again, thanks for watching.